Hello, doing a little bit of research here on the OpenID Federation 1.0. It's an interesting draft for using OpenID in a trusted, federated trust approach. So I'm doing a little dive into it to try to understand how it fits in with access to APIs, how we can build more trust in not just representing users, but API consumers. And so I wanted to work through what the details are here. So OpenID Federation 1.0 looks like they're on draft 39. A federation can be expressed as an agreement between parties that trust each other. In bilateral federations, direct trust can be established between two organizations belonging to the same federation. In a multilateral federation, bilateral agreements might not be practical, in which case trust can be mediated by a third party. That's the model used in this specification. An entity in the federation must be able to trust that other entity it interacts with belong to the same federation. It must also be able to trust that the information the other entities published about themselves has not been tampered with during transport and that it adheres to the Federation's policies. The specification defines basic components used to build multilateral federations and describes how to apply them when the underlying authentication protocol used is OpenID Connect, or the underlying authorization protocol is OAuth 2.0. However, these components can be used for trust establishment with other application protocols. The specification describes how two entities that would like to interact can establish trust between them by means of a trusted third party called a trust anchor. The trust anchor is an entity whose main purpose is to issue statements about entities. An identity federation can be realized using this specification using one or more levels of authorities. Examples of authorities are federation operators, organizations, departments within organizations, and individual websites. This specification provides a basic technical trust infrastructure building blocks needed to create a dynamic and distributed trust network such as a federation. Note that this specification only concerns itself with how entities in a federation get to know about each other. An organization may be represented by more than one entity in a federation. An entity may also belong to more than one federation. Determining that two entities belong to the same federation is the basis for establishing trust between them in this specification. Of course, the word trust is also used in the vernacular to encompass confidence in the security, reliability, and integrity of entities and their actions. This kind of trust is established through empirical proof, such as past performance, security definitions, or transparent operational practices, which demonstrate a track record of adherence to security standards and ethical conduct. To be clear, this broader meaning of trust, while important, is largely beyond the scope of what this specification accomplishes. Below is an example of two federations rooted at the same level at two different trust acres with some members in common. Every entity established mutual trust with other entities means of having at least one common trust anchor between them. Interesting. So, as far as like a website access, that makes a lot of sense. I'm gonna have to do a little bit more thinking when it comes to API access. But because OAuth 2 and OpenID is part of this authentication and uh, authorization chain, it makes sense that we could also be using it to identify uh, developers or API consumers, because what it talked about as far as the building trust, that's what I'm looking to initiate as part of APIs.io, that developers can access APIs within one click using some sort of existing OpenID token, a GitHub login, a LinkedIn login, a Facebook or other, and be able to reuse that key or token to be able to instantly access APIs. And because there's trust there, because they're part of some federation, they're able to start accessing at probably an entry level tier, or maybe a higher level tier if there's higher levels of access available. So, anyways, interesting to think about. I'll do more deep dive and research into this and share more stories. I just wanted to talk through the intro and see what this is all about.